Go! Right, so we're here again at Glasgow University. What I'm going to be doing today, get the iPad. So usually for me, as soon as you ask people these questions, regarding the shape of the Earth, automatically in their mind, as far as I can tell, they're going to go straight to an image that they see on the TV screen. So I'm going to start the conversation by asking them, a wee perception test on whether they think the images that I show them are photographs or they are paintings. So we've got some hyper-realistic paintings and drawings, and we have some actual photographs, landscapes and faces, so that we can induce the conversation, just to highlight to people, that they can't really have trust in an image. So let's see how we go on. So what's your name? Ozan. Ozan, I'm Del, how you doing? Right. So this is So Ozan, I'm just going to show you some pictures, and I'm going to ask you whether you think it's an actual photograph or a painting.
Okay.
Is that okay? So, you see this?
No. Painting.
A painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, why do you think it's a painting?
I don't know, I think it's not a natural photo.
Not a natural photo? Very good. Excellent.
Oh. I'm not sure. Yeah, this one is painting also.
A painting?
Yeah.
Very good.
I think it's natural.
Natural?
Yeah.
It's actually a painting.
Oh.
Some you get, some you won't. This one?
I'm
not sure.
It's natural, probably.
Natural. That's actually a painting as well. You're unlucky. We'll show you this one.
It's like natural.
No, painting again.
I'm not sure.
Not sure?
Yeah. This is probably natural.
Think it's natural?
Yeah.
How would you be able to tell if it was natural?
Because there are lots of noisy in here in the picture, I think.
Do you believe that this is the Earth? Do you believe the Earth's this round ball?
Yes.
You think it is?
Yeah, I just see this, like a Earth, yeah.
So do you believe then that the Earth is a ball?
Yes.
And can I ask you why you believe it's a ball?
Maybe it's my perspective.
So if I take away the image now and I ask you, you believe the Earth's a ball?
Yeah.
Can I ask you why you believe it's a ball?
Because I just see a ball in the picture.
In a picture?
Yeah.
So what the point I'm making here then is that some pictures you see,
Yeah.
you can't tell whether it's a painting or a real photograph. So do you think that seeing a picture on the TV screen is enough to believe that the Earth is actually a ball?
Oh, okay, I got an idea,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I believe the science, and I believe the Earth is, how can I say, round. Yeah.
So if I asked you just as a man to a man, not authority, not the scientific community, just in your experience, is there something that you could point to me to say that you would say that the Earth is indeed a ball?
Yeah, it's possible, maybe. I'm not sure, but actually I'm an engineer and I believe the science.
The science?
Yeah.
So in engineering, you know who Euclid of Alexandria was? Euclid of Alexandria. You know Euclidean geometry?
Yeah, I know.
Euclidean geometry?
Yeah.
And Euclidean geometry is what you apply in the engineering?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just focused on the software engineering.
Software engineering, so it's something totally different then.
Yeah.
So it's not about real world construction engineering?
No.
No, it's software engineering, so it's
Yeah,
something totally different. So the main point of this is just to highlight to people why they actually believe the things that they believe, and just to get an honest representation, because we're trying to invoke a discussion about this, and to highlight that usually when I ask people this, they usually say they see an image on the TV or they believe the science, but they don't really fully understand the science.
Yeah, I don't have lots of experience with these things.
Yeah.
I just believe the science. What can I say?
You just believe it, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's fine. So
I'm not sure how can they prove their ideas, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
So it's worth thinking about. So you would say that you have faith then that the Earth is a ball, based on what's been presented to you, and it's not something that you understand and you know for yourself then. Yeah, that would be true. Excellent, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers. So, hi sir, what's your name? Craig, I'm Dale. How you doing? All right, mate? So I'm just going to show you some pictures here, Craig, and I just want you to give me an honest answer to what you think you see. And tell me if you think that's a photograph or a drawing or a painting.
Sort of around the eyes and the fur, it looks more like a painting, but around the mouth and the body, it looks more like a photo. So if it is a painting, it's an actual painting.
So you'd be undecided then, or?
It kind of looks like an amalgamation. I'd be more towards painting.
Okay, so you're spot on saying it's a painting, but it's difficult to tell, right?
It's an excellent painting.
Yep. This one.
It's a painting as well.
Painting. Very, very well observed, sir.
The way that the beard hair is not quite perfect.
How about this one?
I'd say that's a photo.
A photo? It's actually a painting.
Oh wow.
So far we can establish that it's really quite difficult to tell the nature of something just on a screen two-dimensionally. It's really difficult, isn't it?
The way they've done the waves on that is fantastic.
Painting? Doesn't it look like a photograph, does it?
No, it's too sort of coloured.
Too coloured. What about this one?
I'd say that's a photo.
You'd say it was a photo? So how did you distinguish between that one and the other one?
And the other one, I thought the mountains and jungle were too distinct, like you wouldn't notice them as much on an actual photo.
Yep. So the crux of this then is exactly this. What we're trying to invoke is a discussion about this, because when I've been investigating people questioning the shape of the Earth, the majority of the time when I'm asking people what they think the Earth's shape is, they'll say it's a sphere. I'll then follow up by asking them, why do you think it's a sphere? The majority of the time people are referring to these images that they're seeing. So what I'm trying to establish with people is that, do you think an image on a screen is a scientific approach to a knowledge and an understanding of the world you live in? Do you think you would have to invest faith and belief that people have a vantage point, that these are indeed photographs, when a lot of them are inconsistent? Some of them look really cartoony, some of them look so.
Well, I'd say you have to put a certain amount of faith in.
A certain amount of faith. Yep.
Telling you.
Yeah. So if I asked you as a man, as an individual man, just man to man, without consensus, authority, scientific communities, and I was to ask, do you believe the Earth's a sphere?
Yes.
Could you give me something from your own reasoning processes that would justify that belief?
Pretty much anything to do with sunrises and horizons and perspectives and travels.
Can I go a wee bit deeper, what you mean by sunrise and horizons?
Just that you can't see forever, and I haven't seen any decent explanation from a flat earther that explains why that is. That isn't just sort of, oh, so and so, and how if you get high enough, like being in a plane, you can't see
Curvature.
can see farther, you can see curvature.
Oh, you can see farther. I don't think you can see any curvature, no, at those kind of altitudes. I mean, even the mainstream scientific community will say that you have to be above, 150,000 feet before you'll start to see any slight curvature. But I'm going to defuse the situation when you said the word flat earther there, because I'm a straw man, propaganda flat earth person. I'm just an honest investigator into this topic and what I've found and trying to establish the grounds for people's understanding or what they think they know. So you were saying we can't see forever. What I've found out is that we have spherical eyes, and those eyes are subject to limitations. Like if we look along that street right now, you can see that you can see here the floor starts to come up into the centre of your field of view, and the street narrows in, and the tops come down like almost to like a pyramid shape. You understand that, don't you?
I've studied a bit about the eye before.
So the angle of the light coming into your eye is limited. Whereas if we were to start elevating up in this street right now, you would see further. But that doesn't mean the street's curved, does it?
No, but you also have to consider the fact that we're in a river valley.
Yeah. What do you mean?
The further you see, you don't see part.
So if we were at the horizon and we were looking out at the beach, and you were looking at the horizon, I call that the horizon, the horizontal, it's a perfectly straight line. And if I put a straight edge up to that line, it is perfectly straight and it meets the straight edge. So one of the things that I've always got an issue with, it's a scientific fact for me, I've tested made a hypothesis and I've tested it based on the nature of water and its behaviour. So what I found is that on any kind of slope or incline, water will flow to the lowest point, then it will gather up, it will form a body, and the surface will always remain an equal horizontal plane. Now I can test that hypothesis, I can change the variables in it, I can change the temperature, I can change the container. 100% of the time I find that the water has a distinct physical behaviour and characteristic to it. What I can't make it do is convex. I cannot take any standing body of water, bend it, and maintain the bend upon the surface. So when I'm looking at these things, these are scientific facts for me that contradict the image that I'm seeing on my TV screen. So what I'm doing is just trying to offer that up to people to see what they take from that. Would they rebut it? Would they accept it?
It's a matter of scale in that case. The Earth is unbelievably huge.
Yeah.
And gravity is difficult to understand in small amounts.
Yeah.
That it just fills things together.
So there's two things there that I would have to take issue with, and it's not to be confrontational. This is just to invoke this discussion because it's not a personal thing. But what I find with people is that they don't remain objective about it. They get emotionally attached and defensive about it. So I don't want you to feel as if we're being attacked, and it's just to invoke the discussion because it's about objectivity, is it not? It's not about our persons. It's not a pissing contest and one-upmanship. So scale. If I was to start to increase the scale of a body of water, would you then say that it takes on a new property, like an elasticity, that now allows it to convex?
It's not a new property.
No?
That's just how it works on that kind of scale.
And how would you prove that to me? Scientifically?
I'm not a physicist at that level. You'd have to ask a physicist at that level. You have to ask someone who's trained and
So again, this is to
time.
highlight this point. This is the actual crux of it. People believe these things, and then when they're questioned further on it, they come to the realisation that they don't fully understand it, so they'll then resort to appealing to an authority. And that's what we want to highlight, because for me it's fallacious logic, it's fallacious reasoning, appeals to consensus, appeals to authority, particularly when people make assertions or stand by beliefs that they hold to be true. Would you agree with that analysis?
Yeah, but that's the basis of our modern society.
To believe in hearsay?
To believe in someone who's gone out there and done the thing.
Yeah. But I've made an observation of the natural world. I've formulated a hypothesis. I've set about testing the hypothesis following the scientific method, and I've found that water cannot hold convexity. It can't support shear stress. It has no form to it. It always forms a free surface of a horizontal plane. That's a scientific fact that I've established. So if you were to rebut that, I would ask you to then make the same observation, set about testing it, and show me how you can rebut what I've offered. Because the only thing that people can rebut it by, as I say, is appealing to authority making statements that the scale has to be bigger without particulars of what exact scale does it start to convex and display the curvature. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but how about I turn this around into different perspectives?
Yeah.
What about atoms? What about electrons?
Yeah.
How, do you believe the consensus that those things work?
Well,
Because they're so small, we can't observe them?
Well, it's not that I have a belief. I understand that the world has natural phenomena and we can observe and we can measure effect. What I disagree with is the interpretations of those effects to what the actual cause is. Now, these things like particles and atoms and these things are mathematical conceptions. They're no observed phenomena of the actual fact. They're an interpretation of the effect. So it's just an explanation to why we have the effect. It's not establishing the actual cause.
But we can observe electrons. That's how electricity works.
Yeah, but you're observing the effect. You're not knowing the actual cause. Nobody really knows what electricity actually is. They know how to use it, they know how to utilise it and harness it, but they don't know exactly what it is. So
I
when we,
don't think that's true.
well, that's what I've found. If you go and look for it and you ask anybody, they don't know exactly what it is. This is another part of the distinction. Mathematical concepts and explanations, you know, are added to the mix when we observe natural phenomena because they're trying to formulate a cause and effect relationship. But the majority of the time, these causes are not established. They're interpretations of the effects. Models are built with mathematical explanations. So math's just a language. You know that, it's a formal science, it's not a natural science. So for me, the natural phenomena comes before the man-made aspects that are attached to it. So as I say, when I look at water, we can understand its behaviour, we can then apply it in principle to engineering, we can construct, we can make canals, we can level things over great distance. The most accurate tool we have for establishing level is water. But yet this image is trying to tell me that level doesn't mean level, it means curved. When I know in reality level is no deviation from one point to the other, no deviation in elevation from a starting point to my end point. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Well, it really, coming from the perspective of the Earth being sphere, I would disagree because you build something that's level to the horizon in one place, it's not going to be exactly level with something you built in another place.
So it would be off level then?
Yes.
But level in construction is no deviation in elevation from your beginning point to your end point, so it's a straight line. That's how we construct in the engineering world.
That's good.
You know, so there's a distinction between that application of the real world phenomena and the mathematical conceptions of curve level meaning equal distance from the centre of a circle to the outer circumference. So in mathematical terms, level is a curved line. In reality, level is a straight line. Do you understand?
Yes.
What I'm trying to highlight is the difference here between practical applications and real world phenomena and understanding and mathematical conceptions. And these mathematical explanations support this image. But what doesn't support the image is the natural phenomena that I can observe and apply to the real world. So can you see that there's an issue, that there is something to have a look at here? Or do you think it's just, I'm just talking rubbish? Be honest.
It's just that I choose to put my faith in science. I choose to put my belief in people who've studied for years and have, what reason would they have to lie about these things?
Yeah. What if they're not lying? What if the axioms of the mathematical applications and the models that they're working on are not based on lies, they're just based on wrong interpretations. The axioms that have been created don't add up, don't stack up to natural observed phenomena. So that you can perpetuate a story. Like, look at Einstein's, theory, general theory of relativity, the warping and bending of space-time. That's a mathematical concept based on the natural observation of things falling. But that concept is not a real thing. What's space-time? Is it a fabric? Can you quantify it? Can you show me an ounce of space-time or a measurement of space-time? You can't. It's just a concept to try and explain the cause and effect relationship of observed natural phenomena. you know. But listen, you know, I wanted to capture that, and I really appreciate your total honesty and the fact that, you know, you can say that you have faith and you have belief in what's being offered to you through the consensus and through the mainstream, and that's pretty much what we want to capture. At the same time, hopefully, you know, I can invoke a discussion and maybe trigger some critical thought in people. So, have you gained anything out of this conversation?
I don't know. It's just sort of like theory of general relativity. Not for me. I trust people will work on it, that they'll discover new applications for it.
Yeah.
But I'm a computer man myself.
Yeah.
That's what I'll work on and discover new applications for.
Yeah. So, what kind of things do you do with computing?
It's programming, maybe it's the software side.
Software. What's the geometry that's applied to computing? Is it Euclidean? Is it non-Euclidean? Do you know that?
It depends. There's way complicated. It's mostly Euclidean vertices
So
and
X
stuff.
and Y, you know, Cartesian box grids that you're working from.
But then you get crazy mathematical models for other things.
Yeah. So even in that, for practical living, you know, you've got the vertical and the horizontal, we've got the X and the Y, and that's what we apply. Now that doesn't apply to curved surfaces. It doesn't work on a curved surface. You need to incorporate non-Euclidean geometry to start working, you know, within our parameters. So again, there's an issue there. If we're utilising Euclidean principles in everyday life that don't work on curved surfaces, there's an issue there again for me, because they're depicting the Earth as a curved surface. But yet we use these things and they work. So who's right? Is the applications correct, the real world applications of the real world phenomena, or do we throw it out because we see an image presented to us on the TV screen? That's pretty much the crux.
I just think it's, the more you explore the real world phenomena, the more it lines up. You can see why we have this consensus.
Yeah. But you don't know why, you're just going with it.
It's just a lot of time to study. And as I say, I trust. I don't understand why a car works, but I know it works, and I trust that they'll make more cars.
Yeah.
And there's certain things I do understand better. I understand why an operating system works.
But that's the difference. You would never claim to understand how the car works. So at the same point, I'm saying to people, well, why would you claim that you know that the Earth's a sphere and you don't understand it fully? That's pretty much what we're trying to highlight, and just show that there's a grey area here of how little people actually know and understand. And for me, it's usually important because it's a foundation of our existence. And if people don't fully understand it, I have to question, well, why are they investing belief in something without properly investigating it? I mean, it can only be a positive. This whole process can only be a positive for me, because it'll turn people's attentions to being critical on what it is they're taking on face value. And that's pretty much what we're trying to achieve. So I can only hope that we've done that. And I really appreciate your time today, my man. It's been really excellent. So, anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's about it.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, buddy. Really nice talking to you. Brilliant. That was excellent. Once I've done this, it's just a wee quick point that I want to make, just to see what their reaction is to that. That's all right. It'll take 2 seconds. So, sorry sir, what's your name?
Yes, Mark.
Mark Campbell. Nice to meet you, Mark. So I'm just going to show you some of these, just your honest opinion on what you think that is. A photograph, drawing, painting.
Photograph.
Photograph's actually an artistic drawing.
Alright.
Right?
Painting.
Painting. Yeah, was that a guess or based on your previous?
Yeah, I guess.
Going with the odds. Right, I'll get you some landscape ones.
Painting.
Painting.
Yeah.
Based on
I just didn't think the reflection looked quite as
sharp as you
sharp.
think it should be.
Uh-huh.
Very astute, very well observed.
I'd say painting again.
Painting again, spot on. Show you this one.
Painting.
Painting?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't think it looks completely lifelike.
So would you say some of these you're taking a guess at?
Yeah, I'm not an artistic expert.
Would it be fair to establish that, you know, seeing things in a two-dimensional representation are really difficult to establish whether something's like a representation of something real or it's a portrayal of something real? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, in cases like the ones you've shown me.
Yeah. Right. I'll just show you this one then.
Painting.
Can I tell?
No.
Yep.
Well, since I said painting for the last lot, I'll say picture. I'm not sure, to be honest.
So you're not sure?
No.
So that's what we're trying to establish. I've been investigating. You've heard of people questioning the shape of the Earth, I'm pretty sure.
Like in terms of flat Earth.
Flat, this false dichotomy. For me, there is no dichotomy. If something's real and it's true, it's objective. It should be scientific. It should be measurable. It should be provable. So I don't like it that people make these false dichotomies of globe versus flat. I'm just an investigator. So what I'm trying to point out to people is when I ask people, and particularly students, I'm asking, and I'm going to ask yourself, do you believe the Earth is a sphere?
Yes.
Based on what we've established here by only seeing a 2D representation on a screen, I have to remove that because it's not a scientific thing for me. Would you agree with that, or would you disagree? Just seeing a picture on your screen.
Oh, in terms of that being some proof
Yeah,
or something. I mean, not 100%.
Not 100%.
Yeah.
So if I remove that and I ask you just man to man, human to human, no consensus, no appeals to authority or any of that stuff, if you were to assert to me that the Earth was a sphere, what would you point to? What would you point to in the natural world that could convince me that the Earth was a sphere?
I can't say something I don't know about, so
This is exactly what we're trying to highlight.
I don't know, just the way the days work, and when you go abroad and the time shifting and everything
daytime.
like that.
Yep. But these are patterns in regards to day and night and assumptions that are made about the sun.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to establish, if we were to try and measure this floor right now, and I was to start looking up at these light sources like the lamps and stuff, would you think I was crazy? Because I'm trying to measure this. How could I measure this by looking up there?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So this is what I'm trying to establish. How do we establish the dimensions of the Earth by actual tangibility and not just assumptions made about 2D representations, i.e. the luminaries in the sky? Because they're only two-dimensional to us, we only see them two-dimensionally. So is there anything else that you could possibly come up with?
Not off the top of my head. I've obviously got to get back to work just now. So
Listen, man, I want to capture the honesty, so I really appreciate your honesty for that, sir.
No worries.
Hopefully you'll have a wee think about it.
Good luck.
Right, cheers for the minute. So for however long you want to give your time, there's no expectations at all, man. I'll just open this up, sorry. So before we get in, I'm Del, my man, how you doing?
Alright, I'm Chris,
Chris, nice to meet you, buddy. Thanks for speaking to us. I'm just going to show you this image, mate. I want you to give me your honesty about what you think. It's a photograph or a painting.
I think it's a photograph.
A photograph?
Yeah.
It's actually a painting.
Really?
An artist's job. How about this one?
I mean, it looks like a photograph again, but maybe like...
Looks like a photograph.
Yeah.
It's actually a drawing.
Yeah,
it's actually a drawing. Really good though.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll show you some landscape ones.
I think that's a photograph as well.
I think it's a photograph as well. It's actually another artist's painting. No, I'll show
Just
you.
the way the light in it.
I know, I'll show you one there. This one.
That's got to be a photograph, surely.
Surely it's a photograph?
Yeah.
It's actually a painting. Right, so I think you would agree here that it's really difficult on a two-dimensional representation to establish the validity of something, whether it's true
definitely.
or whether it's not. So you agree to that before I show you this image?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, okay, here we go. So that's I don't know, there's a photo or a painting or something. Is that what you're trying to ask me?
Well, this is the thing.
Is this some flat earth stuff?
Well, it's no, don't please don't attach straw men to me. It's an investigation. I'm trying to conduct an honest investigation, and what we've been highlighting is that when I ask people this question, do you believe the Earth's a sphere? They'll say yes, and usually 90% of the time when I ask them why they believe that, they're going to say to me, images, or they're going to say it's what I was told. So, other than the image, for me, would you agree that an image is not a scientific representation of anything? You can't take that as a scientific measurable proof.
I mean, it depends what type of image you're talking about.
Well,
what do you trust?
Well, I don't trust an image on a screen as being a measurable scientific fact.
Right.
For me, something has to be in 3 dimensions. I have to be able to quantify it. I have to be able to practically, assess it. and that's what I treat as actual science. That so be the natural sciences, dealing with natural phenomena, cause and effect relationships, and what things are made of, and you know their interactions between each other. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Yep.
to some extent, but
Yep.
I don't think the Earth's flat.
No,
I think the Earth's sphere.
That's fine. People are entitled to believe. What I'm trying to establish is the reasoning processes with people. So if I could ask you that, I know you're short for time. You believe it's a sphere?
Yeah.
As a man to a man, no consensus, no appeals to authority or what you see on the TV screen. Could you convince me that the Earth was a sphere based on some natural observation you could make, or something you could offer me?
On the fact that you know you can see the horizon and it curves, and you know the.
Where have you seen that curving? Sorry.
I've seen it on videos because I have been interested in this before. You know, I have
Personally,
I've not seen it personally, no.
Yep.
Because like you're trying to get me to agree with you, and I.
I'm not trying to get anything. What I'm trying to highlight here is this difficulty that people have in articulating why they believe it to be true. This is all we're trying to highlight, mate.
But then how does the sun go round the Earth if it's flat?
I don't make no assertions about any of that. You know, the problem for me with the luminaries is that we can only see them in 2 dimensions. They're not 3-dimensional. We can't get to them. We can't ascertain exactly what they are. We can only interpret what we think we're seeing. So I remove visible phenomena from the equation and I go back to tangible phenomena, something again that I can get to in 3 dimensions and I can quantify it.
Right.
So my go-to thing that I have an issue with is always the water. You know, the natural phenomena that I've observed is that water will flow downhill.
Aye.
It will take the shape of any container that it finds. It will always form a free surface, which is a horizontal plane. It's an equilibrium, so that any standing body of water I find, it's at equal elevation at any given point upon that body of water. That's a scientific fact for me because it's demonstrable. I can measure it and then I can apply it in the real world. So we can use it for levelling. We can build canals. We can build long structures. So level in the real world is no deviation in elevation from my beginning point to my end point. Water's the best measuring tool I can find for that. So that's always the thing I've got a problem with, because that image is contradicting my natural observations and my scientific test. So you know, I always come back to people and I offer them that to see what their rebuttal would be to that.
Right.
And the majority of the time they'll just say words. So what I'm trying to encourage people is to make your own observations, formulate your own tests, and see if you think the substance can behave the way the picture depicts it to behave. Because for me, the picture's contradicting the scientific test. Does that make sense to you?
It does and it doesn't, because you know gravity works in a sphere. That's the point of it. It pulls things into the centre,
Yeah.
and that's something that's been proven. That's how the Earth goes around the sun. That's how.
So, but if I just let you say that, right, and then I ask you, what do you mean by it pulls?
It pulls us to the ground
How does it do that?
because it's massive and it attracts other things.
So what's your understanding of the word pull? There's a physicality to the laws of motion. You know, so saying that something's achieving motion or a direction comes into the category of the laws of motion for me. Now, in the laws of motion, a variance of pressure is what makes things move, so you have to push something. So when we talk about pull, they're descriptors of direction. So if you put your hand out like that for me,
Right.
and I say this and I bring you towards me, you're going to say I pulled you towards me.
Yeah.
But if I show you the physicality, the point of interaction, the pressure's here on the inside of your finger, the pressure's on the inside of my finger, so it's an applied pressure to bring you towards me. Do you understand?
Not really. I don't entirely see where you're going with this.
Well, it's just because, you know, when people say gravity pulls and it attracts, I have to get a definition of what they mean by these words, because there is no mechanical attachment to the words. The mechanical attachment to motion is a variance in pressure. So something has to put a pressure on something else.
What do you think's keeping your feet on the ground?
No, I don't know. And this is the other thing I highlight with people, the way in which objects fall, you know, or why they fall in a particular direction doesn't define the shape of the Earth, and it gives me no measurable proof of the shape of the Earth. So, you know, there's loads of, you know, straw man and fallacious logic and reasons being applied to this question. And I'm just trying to highlight that and have an honest discourse with people. Not as opposing sides, because reality is objective, it's singular. So that it's not to be won or lost by way of rhetoric or argumentation. What can we actually tangibly prove? What can we demonstrate to each other? And what can we actually measure is the method I would go with. Would you agree? Would you disagree with that?
I would go with the measurements done by scientists who, you know, have conducted research and called scientific method rather than
like add on to the
discussion.
water.
But I wouldn't say that was the scientific method, because you're
And
trying
natural.
to extrapolate from a small scale to a massive scale.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really work, because
Well, you would be the one that would be asserting that, so you would then have to tell me what changes about the properties of the water when you start to increase the scale.
because flat is defined by gravity, by pulling things centrally, and if gravity is on a sphere, it will pull things centrally, so if you pull out wider and wider, you will see that curve.
So that's a mathematical description. So there's a separation there for me. What you've described is a mathematical description of level, the word level, which is an equal point from the centre of a circle to the outer circumference. So if you put a centre point in your circle and you draw a line to the outside edge and you follow that line, it would be an equal distance. So that's a mathematical definition of level. Level in the real world is no deviation from my starting point in elevation to my end point. So it's an equal elevation.
So you think circles don't exist in the real world then?
No. What I'm saying is your description of flat and level. The real world application and phenomena of level is no deviation in elevation. So if I start here, I'm at equal elevation to my end point. I'm not doing here or up here, because then it wouldn't be level. Construction wouldn't work like that. Construction works on Euclidean plane principles.
I think I've really got to head off. It's been a good chat.
I appreciate it. Thank you for
I hope your
highlighting the honesty.
documentary goes well.
Appreciate
but,
you, man.
I'll see you later.
So I think what you can see here is that as we ask these questions and we try and engage in this discussion, there's a real defence mechanism shown from people. They're getting really upset. You can see it in their body language. You can see them trying to be evasive. They're not willing to be forthcoming and upfront with intellectual honesty. They're deciding and choosing to side with a particular bias, although they can offer no real reason for why they're doing that. And again, for me, this is the behaviour of a cult. This is a behaviour of cult thinking. It's a display of serious intellectual dishonesty. That we're talking about people in the world of academia here who can't even engage in honest discourse and be upfront and open about what they don't know, what they think they know, and what they think they do understand. So I think that's becoming very apparent as we go on with this. So we'll just see. Hopefully we can get more discussions and see a bit of honesty coming from people. So. And I don't want a bias, I just males, because females don't want to talk to strange guys in the street,
What's it for?
Is
it like a study, or is it like...
It is a study, and it's to highlight, I'm smoking a roll up, same as you, I'm just going to put it in my back pocket now. So, hi. Sorry, what's your name? I'm Belle.
Morgan.
Morgan, how you doing? My daughter's name is Morgan. Fantastic. So Morgan, I'm just going to show you a couple of pictures here, and I just want you to tell me honestly whether you think it's a photograph or a painting or a drawing.
A drawing?
Think that's a drawing?
Yeah.
Can I ask you why you think that?
Because there's a wee signature in the corner.
I've not even seen that. Right, okay. What about this one?
Drawing.
A drawing?
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like you can see grains there.
Are you an artist by any chance?
No.
You're not? No. You're spot on. I'll show you this one.
Painting?
Painting? Why?
Don't know. Just kind of looks
Are you
like
guessing?
a painting. Yeah.
Are you just guessing here?
That looks like a painting.
Right, let me see. This one surely.
Drawing?
Drawing? How are you getting these? Are you just taking a stab in the dark?
Just guessing.
Right, so would it be fair to say that it's really difficult to see on a two-dimensional depiction whether something's real or whether it's a drawing or an artist's rendition? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
So based on that agreement then, can I show you this image and you can tell me what you think?
Like what it is?
Aye.
I don't really know.
Do you think it's real?
Real, maybe? With like the white background on it, but real in the middle. Is it?
I don't know. This is the point. So this is the crux here.
Yeah.
We're doing an investigation into people questioning the Earth shape. You heard about this? Flat earthers, globe earthers. Well, I want to remove that dichotomy because I'm just an objective inquirer. Reality singular. It's not to be won by two sides arguing with each other. So what I want to ask people is, you believe the Earth's a ball?
Yes.
Can I ask you, without appearing to an image on the screen, without appearing to consensus or something you've heard, as a human being, what justifies that belief to you?
I think like space travel and studying engineering. So
Right.
it's something obviously I believe in.
Is it real world engineering? Or is it computer engineering
I'm
or
studying mechanical with
mechanical?
Yeah.
Do you understand Euclidean principles then? The geometry that you use is Euclid's.
Yes.
It's based on Euclidean geometry.
Yes.
Do you think that applies to a curved surface?
Tell you.
Doesn't it? It deals with X and Y's, it deals
Yeah.
with horizontals and
Well, X,
verticals.
Y, and Z.
X, Y, and Z.
So
Yeah.
that's your 3D.
Yeah, it's three-dimensional. It's in a Cartesian box grid. That's
Yeah.
right. So your vertical and your horizontal at 90 degrees to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't apply on a curve, does it? How would that work on a curve? If me and you were to start building a canal here, say, right? What's your definition of level, sorry?
Like flat.
Is that what that's the real world definition, isn't it?
Yeah.
So no, would you agree with this, that it's no deviation in elevation from where I start to my end point? The elevation's the exact same?
Yeah.
Yep. And we construct like that in the real world, don't we?
Yeah.
Right, so if I build something, vertical here, and I start building my structure like a canal, and I build it level for 100 miles, when I put water in there, the water defines for me that it is actually level because it's an equal elevation the whole way along my structure. Do you agree with that? Because water doesn't bend, bodies of water don't bend, they always
Yeah.
collapse and find their level.
But everything's relative to, like the core of Earth. So
Yeah.
if the core is there, and we are like round about the core, we're constantly moving, then how can we flat?
Well, then you would have
Because then we'd be like this round the core.
But then you would have to, but that's based on an assumption, but then you would have to be saying that nothing is actually level, then everything's actually curved.
Yeah, but if you base it on an assumption, if you drill all the way down, you can see the way that it goes in. So
But did they drill down? Did you drill down?
I didn't personally.
The deepest hole I've ever dug's 8 miles. It's called the Kola shaft and it's in Ukraine somewhere and they could never get beyond that. So that was 8 miles, but they're telling us that this mantle and these depictions, which again for me are cartoons. So but that's again a kind of appeal to authority and consensus. You would agree with that?
Yeah.
So would you be honest enough to say that your worldview of the Earth being a sphere is based on that consensus?
Yeah.
It's not something that you've fully understood for
No.
yourself, you've measured and you've tested. What do you think about what I'm saying? The natural phenomena I observed is how water behaves. It flows downhill, it collects up, it forms a free surface of a horizontal plane, and that's 100% true in any given case that I can observe and test.
Yeah.
That falsifies that image for me. That there's a contradiction. So are you honest enough to think that there is an investigation there? There's something worth thinking about?
100%.
And is this conversation maybe triggers that you think, well, maybe I should have a wee look at what I think I understand?
I think I've always kind of wondered, like my boyfriend's totally like, maybe there's flat, maybe it's not, but
Excellent.
it's definitely something to
Excellent.
think about.
Well, that's fantastic. That's what we hope to achieve, just to see. You're the first person who's displayed that amount of honesty, to be honest with you. People get so defensive
Yeah.
and they start to...
I don't know why, because it doesn't define anything. It doesn't change who we are or what we do, whether there's flat or round.
Well, I think it does.
Rectangular.
Because I think there's a different state of mind between thinking you're an infinite void with no rhyme or reason to it, to the possibility that there's more to the Earth than we actually understand or
certainly,
realise.
but I think there's no need to be defensive about something
Exactly,
that we don't know.
exactly. But what it shows to me is it's kind of cult mentality.
Yeah.
Because it's like they don't know why they believe it, but they're getting annoyed and defensive about it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of telltale signs of a cult for me. You believe these things, you don't know why, and you're willing to defend it. It sounds a bit religious and fanatical to me, But I really appreciate you being so honest and really kind to speak to us. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you. Bye.